is my privilege to officially welcome all of our graduates and their families to this evening's baccalaureate service on our 43rd annual commencement weekend. Welcome. We are excited about tomorrow's commencement. Over 34,000 are expected to attend the ceremony in Williams Stadium. Weather reports are good. I was watching the Weather Channel this afternoon, not the one that, it's a new Weather Channel. The old one just shows about tornadoes and all now, but I watched the new one that really shows the weather, and it looks like there's a little front moving through, so just pray that there won't be any rain tomorrow morning. But we're planning for the ceremony to be shorter than in the past. Don't get your hopes up, though, because we try to do that every year. We do have some big surprises for you tomorrow, so be sure to attend the main ceremony at 10 a.m. You'll be glad you did. You never know who might show up at Liberty University. We will be selling the LU logo pin this weekend. They'll be available all over campus for $2 each, and all the proceeds will go to the Liberty Godparent Home for unwed mothers. Tomorrow, and by the way, parents and guests, the faculty and staff don't always dress like this here at Liberty. I've lobbied hard to get rid of these at commencement, but I've not had any success. Everybody used to wear hats like some of the crowd are wearing now, and this fella right here's got a Star Wars cap on, I see. That's pretty cool. But my father, one year my father, I'm told it was before my time, he just said, no more hats. And so that was the end of that tradition, but I haven't had the same luck with the robes. But tomorrow, we will be honoring the largest graduating class in Liberty University's history, 19,430 degrees will be conferred tomorrow, up from 17,500 last year. Graduates, we are so proud of you, and we're looking forward to celebrating this great accomplishment throughout this special weekend. You are entering a challenging job market and a culture that is often hostile to Christian values, but we believe you are ready to become the salt of the earth and the light of the world. We believe in you. We believe in you because we know your faith has taken deep roots here, and we are confident that you will leave Liberty knowing not only how to make a living, but also how to live. We look forward to hearing about all your career successes and the example that you will become in your service to others. Liberty students have always had the reputation of being service-oriented. One of the first things Becky and I noticed when I became president in 2007 was how Liberty students radiated the love of Christ and how their lives were a reflection of the great commandment of Jesus to love God and love others. We constantly hear compliments from our students' landlords, employers, and visitors to campus. I'm proud to report tonight that Liberty students are continuing to demonstrate the Christian ideals that have defined them for decades. Tonight's occasion, the baccalaureate service, is a Christian tradition that is as old as the university tradition in America itself. The early founders of America's universities left behind many of the traditions of European higher education, yet they kept this one intact and treated it with a certain reverence. The baccalaureate service is believed to have begun in the early 15th century at Oxford University and involved every male graduate delivering a sermon in Latin. Tim, your Latin? You brushed up on your Latin, but the baccalaureate service eventually was treated more like an official worship service where the university community gathered prior to commencement to give God the glory for their great achievement. Yet as the American Academy became increasingly secularized, baccalaureate services were de-emphasized, and today, if they exist at all, they are considered unofficial services, often endorsed only by a student club, sometimes not even allowed to meet on campus, and almost never endorsed by the university itself. The sad fact is that God has been steadily uninvited to commencement at most universities in America, but not here. At Liberty University, God is the guest of honor. The first European inhabitants of the original 13 colonies would not believe, nor would they accept the alienation of faith from the academy. Quite to the contrary, they wrote Christianity into the founding creeds of America's first universities. They carved Bible verses in the stone facades of buildings and erected monuments to pastors and missionaries. The mottos of 4 of America's Ivy League universities provide a glimpse of the original Christian mission of each institution. These include Brown University, whose motto is, "In God we hope." Princeton's motto remains, "Under God's power she flourishes." And Yale's is still "Light and Truth." The seal of Columbia University has Psalm 36:9 inscribed in Latin, which reads, "In thy light we shall see light." All very similar to Liberty's motto of training champions for Christ. Our fervent prayer for Liberty University is that it will remain true to its Christian roots in perpetuity, and that your children, grandchildren, and generations of their descendants will sit in a service just like this one to thank God for their Liberty University education. An important part of the commencement ceremony tomorrow will be devoted to honoring veterans who have defended this nation and have sacrificed their lives to defend the freedoms that we all enjoy every day. For that reason, it is fitting that our keynote baccalaureate speaker this year is Tim Lee. John and Wanda Lee dedicated their son to God following his birth in 1950. Tim Lee was a born fighter and grew to develop a rebellious and hostile attitude toward authority. Every inch of his life from childhood was a battle. He was a natural fit for the Marines and joined in 1969. After his training, he received orders to serve in Southeast Asia. In March of 1971, Tim Lee was marching along a grassy trail in Vietnam. In that moment, a landmine explosion severed 2 lower limbs and placed him in the fight of his life. Dropping from 187 pounds to 80 pounds, doctors and nurses did not expect him to live, but God's plan for him was to carry the message of Jesus around the world. After his call to preach in 1973 and following a year of itinerant evangelistic preaching, Tim Lee was a pastor for 5 years before becoming a full-time evangelist in 1979. Since then, he has traveled millions of miles and shared the gospel with countless numbers of people around the world. He still travels over 100,000 miles each year to speak in churches, boot camps, arenas, and never strays from preaching an uncompromised message grounded deep in patriotism, righteous living, and biblical revival. Tim has also served this university as an influential member of its Board of Trustees since 1991. I will now ask Tim Lee and our provost, Dr. Ron Hawkins, to join me at the podium. In recognition of his sacrificial service to this nation, his work as an author, speaker, pastor, and evangelist, as well as his proven leadership in the church, with the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Liberty University, the Doctorate of Divinity degree is hereby conferred upon Tim Lee with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto.